right, good morning, folks. Looks like my chat thing works again, so we'll see how that goes. We are going to continue our map work for the Eberron Adventures, Crystals of Mabar. We got the book cover here that you guys can see on screen for the moment. Let me see if my signal works. Cover here that you guys can see on screen. Cool. All right, cool. That works. Bloody madama. Let's see. Looks like I can make this a little bit more spacious. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Give me a second here. If you're familiar with the internets, if you're still on Twitter, I've just posted to Twitter that I have gone live, and so certainly follow me there if you want to keep track of when I'm doing stuff. Right now, I'm just punching some signals on Discord while we do all the bloody blah talky talk. Where am I at? Self promotion. Yeah, that's where that's at. And this is live stream. Okay, cool. DMsGuild, Creator Lounge, DTRPG, OBS. We got Indestructible Boys, Designosphere. Durzon, I can never pronounce his damn name, but he's been a kick-ass component of so much game. Durzazad. Sorry, man. I don't know how to say your names half the time. Yeah, Durzazad, man. Thanks a lot for putting up the new channel. It's been really fun hanging out with you guys. It's a lot of Indestructible Boys team anyway, but it's just somebody else that's just reaching out to build a community. Durzazad is just a cool guy. Dungeoneers Pack. Josh is great. Fry's Mini. Zipperon. Cleric's Corner. Fry Minis, Rich Mary, Dice Try. He does awesome MTG content. He just cleared 15,000 on YouTube, and very much well earned. The D&D Discord home channel, and then Keith Baker's Eberron, of course, which this adventure is an homage to. Like and subscribe so that I can continue growing the channel. More folks can find out about what we got going on here. And there's a link in the description down below for DMsGuild. All the content that I publish. Hold on. Apparently I did something goofy here. There we go. Okay, cool. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Hey, where did I go? Good to see you, man. So there's a description down below. DMsGuild, all the books I publish, I always make available for people to read cover to cover, just so you know what it is that you're getting. There's a huge sale going on DMsGuild right now. I think my stuff's like 35 some odd % off right now, so go ahead and check all that stuff out. If you like any of it, support the channel, make a purchase. Check me on Patreon. Without further ado, I'm gonna dive into this stuff. We got maybe, what is it, 9:20? So we got about 2-3 hours that I can put in today, and we'll see how things go. So we've been doing the Flooded Fortress. Hey, man. Here's where we're at so far. Looks like we've got good separation and contrast between the different elements of the water, the stonework, just the general ground, down, and then the outlying border. So I think what I want to do is finish working on the water. It's goopy, icky, yucky water. So that's fun. We're just making like toxic, sludgy sort of looking stuff throughout here, just to make it interesting. But we got a few hours. There's a decent chance that we're going to have this piece finished today. Other than just nitpicking details, I need to color code these tunnels and this to have the same visual aesthetics, like the same ground tiling, sort of cobblestones inside here, and have the same kind of coloring effects on these black bars. And it's walls. I can do the same thing as we have here for the walls, so there's a consistent look throughout them. Hornico says, my screen's partially blocked. Let's do that. Let's pull this in a bit. Out of curiosity, What would you recommend for compressing, reducing file size when a project is done? I can never get it down to an acceptable size. Well, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. Obviously, these maps only need to have a 70 pixel size to fit on a VTT map like Roll20 properly. So that's a pretty small file size unto itself. But if you're talking about like full cover, like if you're talking like cover paintings, like at 300 DPI, I typically just save them as JPEGs. That's the best I can do. My file sizes on the DMsGuild, because of the amount of artwork that I dump into them, is pretty bulky. So, but a lot of that detail probably isn't actually necessary, especially if you're not actually planning on printing the document, or like it'll make it like a print on demand or anything like that. Like all my stuff is just PDFs, and I don't really intend anyone to do anything with them other than be PDFs. But I've never really had a data issue concern with anything. If anything, like my big, like I've downloaded my 75 page, like in the description down below, I've got like 75 page PDFs in there, and I've never had a problem getting them onto my phone, onto my tablet, or onto my computer. So I don't know how much of a concern that actually is. So I mean, if there's a solution out there, I haven't bothered to explore it. Sorry. But yeah, JPEG is just the generic files that I go to, unless I'm using a transparency, in which case I'll use a PNG. Like I use a lot of PNGs in when I'm doing my layout work, and I drop things into the Word document. I have to build separate objects that I can then drop the image into inside of that object. So I can either do a full page as a JPEG, or I can do I can have a JPEG background and then have a smaller PNG on top of it. I've been leaning towards just doing JPEGs for each page, so that I've got the 8.5 by 11 at 300 DPI as a JPEG that I drop into an object as a background. It's bulky, but it's also really easy. Like Word is actually a pretty good layout program. It lets you have a lot of manual control using your mouse as an interface tool. It's not as adaptive as InDesign or Affinity or other dedicated page layouts. Considering that most of the graphic elements that I produce, I actually do by hand in Photoshop, it's easy for you to lift the text out of Word into a PDF, drop into Photoshop with a transparent background, and just paint directly onto the page, or have a page template that you then lift the transparent Word document PDFs and drop them in place onto the document. You'll see that once we actually get something back from edits. Looks like I may have. It looks like I should have Eberron this document available for me during my. I'll have a vacation between Christmas and New Year, so I'll have a week off that I get to play full-time designer, and hopefully I'll be doing page layouts during that time, and lock down the page layouts for this whole adventure, and then we can just start dropping map and image elements into it. But if layouts aren't ready for anything yet, then I'll just be doing a crap ton of artwork, it's just a matter of, chicken egg, whatever's going to happen first. But you'll see that how easy Word as a program can be for doing page layouts. So because I'm gutter trash. The only reason I use Photoshop at all is because of how good the color tools are. Otherwise, I'd probably use something like, Clip Art Studio or something like GIMP. Like I used GIMP for a long time when I was first exploring stuff. But again, it was the color coding that eventually got me into Photoshop specifically. So I don't know if that answers the question at all for you. It probably isn't an encouraging answer. But you'll see how I do when I do. But yeah, the file sizes are pretty large. Up that strength a little bit so I can push these around a little bit more. I'm just using my cloud brush as usual. It's my most adaptive, smudgy It's the smudgiest of all the brushes I've created. So I use it as my go-to. Man, I am like within pages of being done with the Spelljammer combat and exploration document and handing that off to edits. I doubt I'm going to get it back until January, which is great because I can continue to juggle between that project and this project to make sure that if I have more than one project at a time, I can make sure I don't burn out on any of them, because if one starts to get too heavy, I can switch gears to another, and that's really satisfying. It tends to slow down production for stuff in general, but I think the end result is, well, the end results are fun, so I really can't complain about it. But that's going to be going off to edit soon, and then I'll have I won't have any text on my plate other than the Martial Powers project that I work on Mondays. But otherwise, it's going to be all maps and illustration and page layouts. So I think we're going to start seeing my time frames collapsing here, especially as we start locking down the visual language of these different maps here in Eberron. God, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving where we're at. This is fun. Hey, Anze. Good to see you, dude. Micromanage this so hard. Just enjoying the process. Let's go to 80 some odd. The water in the manifest zone from Mabar just gets absolutely putrid. It's all rotted and fetid. So I'm trying to create this ickiness to it. I don't know how successful it is, but I'm trying to use. I wanted to use just basic line art to represent, squibbliness. But I can use those contours as guide marks for curves and stuff for the actual coloration. And I think I want to have a more modeled effect. I'm liking this. What is it? 78%, 80%? Yeah, 78. I'm liking this modeled effect. I think that's like these little swirls and circles and stuff. I like that language, so I think I want to lean into that. And it'll also make for a quicker production. So, honestly, I think you're my good luck charm, dude. Whenever you show up, I come up with neat new texture ideas. So, thank you. But there can be all sorts of icky stuff that hides out inside of here. The way that it's default is that there's this hole here leads to this hole here, and there's undead trapped in this tunnel, and they'll find their way through, heading up the tunnel towards the only sense of life that they have here, and they can crawl out through there here. So there's all this undead that's amassing in the putrescence here, or they come out and they start milling around up here. So if the characters outsmart the map and circle around and come out from the other direction, they're going to run into a shitload of zombies and ghouls it'll make it easy for the camp over here to hear what's going on. And now the team is either fighting both of them, or if they've started building relations with the soldiers already, they can help the soldiers overcome the threat to help get more edge in the social aspect of this, to get the soldiers on their side while they assault this place. But if they don't, if they just hit it straight on and hit the camp first, they won't know about the amassing army of undead here until it's useful to the DM to drop them if negotiations go badly, or if they're fighting the guards and it's an easy fight. All that stuff can attract the attention of the undead that can then that can overwhelm the battlefield and change the change the type of battle that they're having. So this is fun. Yes, miasma, excellent. But the nature of Mabar corrupts life around it. So the forest rots away, and the water becomes fouled, and all the vegetation that rots becomes it starts to terraform into this gritty gravel of black crystals. It's like the only thing that's left of any kind of life, and it's the crystals of Mabar is the title of the adventure, but it's also the motive behind the villains, to be able to produce and harvest these crystals, which can be used as arcane focuses for darkness and necromancy spells. And if you're doing rituals, you can use these crystals instead of like jewels or opals or whatever. Like, instead of putting like stones on the eyes when you do speak undead, you can cover their eyes with these little crystal specks, and it acts as a material component instead. So if you can just grow these things in a petri dish inside of a manifest zone, you can have a replenishing resource for these black mana rituals. And so that's super freaking, that's like huge profit line that, you know, the villains in this adventure want to use to reestablish their position. They're expatriates from the Cartography military that were decommissioned because we don't need necromancers anymore. Get out of here, you filthy cultists. They want to regain authority and respect inside of their spheres of influence. So taking control of a manifest zone and turning it into a profit stream is a way to earn clout among the spellcasting community, and to reestablish their own monetary resources, which then fuels their magical resources. And so depending on what plot hook leads the characters in, they may be aware of it, they might not be aware of that. They may be aware of what the crystals are, they might not be aware of what the crystals are. Just depends on who's giving them who's leading them to the adventure, to know what kind of, for them just to already know, what's going on here. Why are we involved? Like, one of the plot lines is like your cousins moved into a new community after they got displaced by the war, and they offered you a farm. And when you show up, undead's going crazy, yo, and everyone's really glad that you showed up. We have no idea what's happening. Why are there undead spawning in the forest killing people? Well, go find the root of the cause, and that leads you to all this mess. Or you could be starting off as like, yeah, we tried to fire up this money-making facility using extraplanar powers, and it's gone haywire on us. We need a cleaning crew to go in and take control of it. That's a completely different plot direction, and you know a lot more about what's going on inside of here than if your ignorant cousin invites you out here and it becomes just death. so that's kind of fun. There's six different plot hooks that leads characters to getting involved in this in the first place. So the DM can mix and match what information is available from each plot hook for the characters, depending on whether this is part of an ongoing campaign or if it's a one-shot. Like, one-shots are great, giving them like the kill crew, going in there knowing exactly what the problem is and who their targets are, so they can just plane shift into the third act inside the facility nearby where the villains are doing their evil deeds, so that it becomes a faster, like a 4-hour jaunt through a slaughter, as a kill house for you fighting undead and necromancers and their constructions, and either taking control of the place or like taking control of the teleportation circle, so that you can gate in allies to overrun the area. If you just want to do like an exploration search mission of finding things without actually engaging enemies at all, Scooby-Doo style. Whoa, wrong map. You can do that. So you have a lot of control over what the DM wants the characters to encounter, depending on how much time is available. And as part of an ongoing campaign, the DM can, of course, work this one into as many storylines he already has going for the characters as he wants. I'm liking this. This looks pretty cool. But yeah, there can be any number of undead in here. There's plants that we provided in an appendix that will attack you and drag you underneath, potentially drown you or trap you like a Venus flytrap. So that if you walk across it, it snaps shut and then drags you in. So you have to fight your way out of the plant while taking damage from it. Fun stuff. And the DM can heap up as much of that crap. There's specters and wraiths that are incorporeal creatures that the DM can just have as random things to show up at any time, so that they can add to the CR of an encounter. Because there's the set encounter pieces like this. There's little additional encounters that you can drop in as like little map vignettes in the mists, and then there's the random encounter tables, which can all be stacked up together. So the DM can layer on as much CR and punish the team as much as they want, or he can back off as much as he wants and thin out the enemies that the teams have to face, depending on what their resting cycle is and how large of a set piece these things are inside of a campaign versus a one shot. So that's how we're structuring the adventure, to have like those different perspectives about how you can integrate these things into each other. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oops, I'm actually doing this on the water layer. That's probably a bad idea. I should probably have the blue as a separate layer underneath the thing. But alas, earwax, I haven't. So I think I'm going to yeah. Let's highlight that, and then let's just create a new layer altogether. Let's get our window, tools. Cool. We'll do that. And that. I don't think I need to have all those little bubbles. Now we can mess around a little bit more freely. Yeah. Bar. Let's get back. Let's get back on base. That's fun. I dig that. It's raining constantly in the adventure, so there's all these fetid puddles that are keeping the environment honestly from just freezing over, like just growing over with crystals in general. The water keeps mucking it up, so it stays a wet, soggy, miserable mess for characters to slog through while they're looking for undead to attack them in the mists. Because there's a fog effect that limits visibility, like the 40 feet above surface, and it gets denser and denser as you move further into the manifest zone. And once you get underground, where the source of the nexus zone is at, it's just thick obscurement everywhere. So you can have these little vignette pieces that are visually separated from other areas in the region, so the DM can control the space and what's visible at any given time, because the fog effect just limits how much engagement you can actually have in the environment at any given time. So the whole thing is designed to be like small scale, like you can peel out pieces of it and drop it into little, like Chess X has 36 by 24 inch maps that dry erase maps. So most of this adventure is designed to be able to operate inside of that map space. That's your typical kitchen table. So you got 5 people gathered around a table. You can't have like 10 feet worth of map for them to trudge through. You have to be able to break it up into small pieces so that the game can just lay down the next piece and the next piece and the next piece. And if they're all separated by this ongoing fog effect, you can keep what's visible contained. It's gonna muck all this stuff up. When I build other adventures in the future, we won't have that fog effect, but we'll be able to continue breaking up sections into smaller pieces and have different narrations that go along with the pieces. Again, it's the ongoing attempt. I'm going to attempt to have the adventures I build fragmented into these little components, so that you can take pieces of it and drop it into any other encounter or other adventures that you have, so that the material is useful beyond just this adventure itself. Like where we were talking about taking the cemetery, that's another section here in Act 2. and buffing that out more so it could be a standalone piece for like a Halloween scare adventure sort of thing. Or just as, you know, an enhancement to expand the time that characters spend inside of the cemetery if they want. Whatever. But there's already like 40 different encounter areas throughout the adventure, from Act 1 to 3. So it's a pretty robust piece unto itself. It's got a lot going on, and it'll keep you. It can keep you busy for a good 6 sessions if you want to expand out like into a full campaign. Or again, like I said, you can just condense it all. Depending on what plot hook you use, you can just condense it into a one shot. Inconsistency happening here. Good thing I'm doing this. Man, my stomach hurts. What's going on? There's some sort of something going on. Well, doesn't seem like there's anything happening on my phone. I should, however, turn on my timer. So I'm going to start clocking 20-minute kicks. Too much pizza soup. Probably right. Probably right. I got my pizza soup last night and it was good. No regrets. You know, except when my stomach hurts right now. I don't know if that's related. That feels like stress worry to me more than anything else, especially when it comes out of nowhere. It just kicked through. It's a good sense that something's going awry someplace. I won't know what it is probably, well, until someone reaches out to me about it, but we'll see. It might just be unprocessed stress that's finally resolving. Hard to say. How did this get so freaking messy? You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to leave it as one layer. I still need to work on this rim over here. I cleaned up all the edges along the sides here though, so that's a clean cut. So the perimeter is all clean at this point. The structural walls are all resolved. I still have this drop down area, and then finishing up the water, finishing up the embankment. And then the incidental stuff in here. Once I finish the tunnels, then I can work on the actual like campfire and tent and cart and soldier assets that'll sit inside of here as well. So there's still a bit of work to do, but once it's resolved, the language is going to be pretty consistent for the rest of the maps that I have to do. So it's time well spent, though time consuming. So I'm excited about getting text off my plate so that I can be working on a lot of this stuff a lot more consistently. Just hammer stuff out, and you'll see more and more progression every time I stream on something. Me working on stuff off screen. So. Developing mechanics and text and stuff that eats up a lot of time, and it's not very entertaining. Statistically, I have my channel has grown considerably since I started working on the cartography and illustration parts of the project design, away from just like raw text development. People generally don't like seeing and staring at me, staring at text. So that's a considerable spike in interest and activity on the YouTube analytics since getting into the visual aspects of all this stuff. So, but I'm still working on Monday during the day on the development of the Marshall Powers document, because I think it's important to have demonstration of working on a project from the creation all the way through into the layouts and the illustration and the actual publishing. So like I said, I want to be able to use these things as like proof of concepts for like designing PDFs and projects in general that can eventually lean into Kickstarter or Patreon projects. Like, why support me? It's like, because I create results, and here's a demonstration of a lot of that. So anyway. Is a large body of field water dangerous? Does anything reside in it? Yes, there can be any number of things. There's these things called mammoths in the mist, which is a giant-sized fly, like Venus flytrap. It basically covers it's a large object, so it covers a 10 by 10 area, and if a character traverses it, it's a saving throw, or they get snatched up. They start taking damage each round, and they get pulled underneath. So if it's underneath, if it's just out and about in just the muck that's out there, they're not too difficult to see. But if they're underwater, they're almost impossible to see. So there's ghouls and zombies that are that can be underneath the surface, that are just crawling around, that haven't made their way out of the goop to there's an encampment over here where there's soldiers, and there's soldiers that traverse along this pathway here that extends on that way to the top side entrance that also leads to the dungeon. But again, they're all coming out of this little hole here. and that hole leads to here. And this leads down the tunnel to here, and there's undead that come out through here into the water and then migrate their way outward. So there's a monster generator outside of this map that can continue to feed undead at the team in groups of anywhere from just 1 at a time to 15 at a time, depending on how the DM wants to scale it. And until the players get into this tunnel, that monster generator is here. So it can continue to spit out undead as the DM needs until he feels like the team has had enough. But as the team zeroes in on a location, they start eliminating spawn points. And once all the spawn points are eliminated, the area is contained. And they don't have to worry about, they don't have to worry about things coming up on their 6 anymore. So... which is another great aspect of like the mist effect, the obscuring of long distance views, because you can always have more undead coming from a direction. Like one of the vignette maps that we have that you can drop in is basically a sinkhole with just a living grave of corpses. It just spawns undead out of it, and it's like a literal like gauntlet style monster generator, where while the pile of corpses remains partially submerged beneath the surface, you can't see it, it can always pull more corpses from underneath the water outside of your view until you actually get into the sinkhole and destroy the mass grave itself. It'll just continue generating monsters for however long the DM wants. But once the characters actually get in there and fight it as like a large beast, then once they destroy that, then it shuts down and that generator gets turned off, and they crawl up out of the hole, and then they continue forth into the mist again. But the DM can have any number of them populating the manifest zone. This is an old Cartography research facility that is also a decommissioned fortress military base. So there's a soldier grave and the necromancy lab, and when the area goes awry, all the undead that are buried there are animated on their own and have their own, malicious intelligence to attack and hunt things and whatever. So the DM has infinite corpses in marked and unmarked graves that he can pull from, and anytime you're pulling undead, then it can lead to one of these little encounter, like these boss fight sort of things, to shut down that monster generator. And so the longer the campaign, the more this is part of an ongoing campaign, the more of those generators can be scattered throughout the region. So until the team shuts down the manifest zone completely by disrupting the necromancers and their ritual and stuff, it can continue to spew undead out into the region, creating a larger and larger threat to the point where we need heroes to go in and deal with this stuff, which becomes a hook. So, like if your team, like you could do a one-shot starting at the being teleported in, killing the characters, and then rebooting the campaign as a one-shot like forward to the adventure, and then you start over with first level characters, and then you run your campaign and do your bloody blah. But by the time they get to 6th or 7th level, this thing gets back on their radar, and then they go in and they find the dead team that your character started with at 8th level as the first thing you did in the campaign. And then they can start connecting the dots about, oh, this is, X amount of other adventures that we've been going on have kind of funneled us into this one. A lot of different ways you can use the material if you wanted to. error. Like that. I enjoy this mess. I like doing these things. They're cool. I hope the general response from people viewing this map is going to be, I don't want to go into that. Because that it's something they can certainly do, and the adventure plans for it. But hopefully that's a big nope, and let's find something else. let's go around that, which is exactly what we want them to do, to go around so they can explore the space a little bit more. But I mean, if they want to be bold and dive into it, they are welcome to do so. That's talking about that planned channeling that we're talking about, like creating encounters based on what you expect players to do, and then what shenanigans you expect players to pull beyond what seems sensible. Like players like to do illogical stuff and sometimes intentionally do stupid things as though they're like juking the system. It's like, great, juke it. Let's see what you find. Challenge accepted. I like that kind of stuff. Got all these lines I've drawn throughout that are black, and so I know that there's a minor signature that they have, even though they blend really well with the amount of with the lack of contrast between these darker lines. I know they're still present. So while I'm building all this, I have to use those as natural contours in the muck. Otherwise, they're not going to read properly. Like what is the intent of those lines? Like it's just a visual reference to break up the line space. You know, like here's water that you're mucking through. But on the color map, we can do more with it. But the more we do with it, the more it has to remain consistent, so that it's providing the proper visual language. Hopefully that's being accomplished here. Wrong button. This is the only section of the only map that we have that has like this big swampy effect. So I'm kind of making a set piece out of it. Boy, oh boy, I'm choking on the love over here. Timely timer, keep it timing. I'm loving this map so far. All right, looks like everything's on course. Oh, and now let's get over into here. I may have to be very careful about, I think the texture is carrying that this is a different substance from this, or do they look too similar? I may actually, that's a point, I may actually have to have when I'm done with this, I might have to drop this to something like that, just so that it reads differently from these objects. I'm not sure if there's enough dichotomy here to make this feel different from this. What's this? Like, what's this interior? And what's this interior? That's pretty radically different. So hopefully the color scheme change alone and dropping the opacity there a bit is going to be enough for this to read differently. Comments. Yeah, dropping the contrast range on the water will help it read as different from the stone. Excellent. So I'll just keep with this opacity right now just to make sure that I get good texture into effect, and then I will definitely go and I'll fade that down. Thank you for the confirmation. I appreciate that, Anzi. Thank you. Cool. All right, we're on point. Time for me to refill my cup. BRB. Burp. Burp. Now that is a watered down mocha. I'm just honestly ecstatic and thrilled that I'm even doing this. I love doing these projects, man. I love building things. I can see more clearly than ever the products being finalized and moving out of this block of projects that I'm working on. I'm really excited about whatever the hell it is that I end up focusing on next. I'm honestly not sure what my next priority will be. I'm hoping to get these things. Like this next phase of projects that I want to work on. I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to get done before 1D&D comes out as 6th edition, and but more importantly, like what I'll need to modify once it does. So I think I want to stay focused more on this larger, like these command mechanics as opposed to individual character mechanics. I think I'm certain that 1D&D is going to like have practically nothing to do with upscaling like army size stuff, guilds and fortresses and stuff like that. I seriously doubt Wizards is investing any time in that. So that feels like a pretty safe space for me to be able to explore in general, and probably only needing to touch up the language, like D20 tests and stuff like that. I may be able to have to go through and sweep and clean up some of that stuff, but for the most part, I think the mechanics I've been developing, like for Spelljammer and Mass Combat and Guilds, I think all that stuff is going to be able to stay relatively untouched, while color mana mechanics are going to potentially be heavily impacted by what they decide each type of character class and subclass options can do. And I'll need to adapt the document, obviously, to compensate for those changes. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern until they clarify what their intentions are with those things, and then we'll be able to have our plate cleared with be able to just immediately dump in onto updating and changing those documents. We'll do all that on stream in 2024. So we have all of next year, and I guess we have like 18 months to build out here whatever adventures we want and whatever mechanics we want. That will be relatively untouched by 1D&D, and then once that hits, we'll switch over to all character option material to update everything that I've done, like update Nature's Ally, update Knights and Tricksters. I doubt Universal Spell Points is going to need much changes at all, but Knights and Tricksters may, depending on what they end up doing with archetype levels. So there could be some revisions there, and what defaults they build into the classes that will curve with mechanics that I have built, and what I'll need to change about mechanics to work with what is new. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. But I think more importantly is I'm really, I mean, the Marshall Powers book that's character options, but I got to get that thing built because it's too cool. So that'll definitely be a 2023 thing. I reckon that'll probably be published by July or so, because I think once we get out of, I suspect we're going to have a final document, even with the slow rate of only working on the text for that on Mondays for like 2 hours. We're still making great progress. And again, I've been playtesting that stuff. We're now at 17th level, but we've been playtesting all those mechanics for 8 months, like since level 12 or so. We've been playing with those mechanics, so we're pretty confident that they do what we intend them to do. So that's something we can definitely move forward with, and that'll be fun. But I won't mind updating that because it's mostly independent. I mean, it's spellcasting mechanics that are unlikely to be interrupted by whatever it is that they come up with 1D&D. But we may have to modify, the subclass levels and stuff like that again. But I don't think they intend on changing, like half casting. I think it's going to probably remain 5 levels, and it'll probably have the same, like, well, they've already made a change with Artificer to level 1, so like 1, 5, 9, 13, 17 should remain consistent. So that's going to curve out properly for what I've already built. Yeah. Don't see those changing too much. Pretty excited about that. Feel things moving, man. I don't know what's moving, but realities are shifting. I can sense the movement. I don't always necessarily know what changes. Timely timer. Keep it kicking. I got a badoop doop boop badoop boop. It's 10:30. What's going on? Somebody badooping me. Why? It's just text. It's not text. It's probably just a commercial. No. Place a small rock, outcropping, or fallen column in the middle of a fool's errand. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Drop something like right over here. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'm gonna finish up all this mess and then I'll probably come back around and do that. That's not a bad idea. Let's see, if they have stone assets, they make the call. No need to tweak your map. Heck, you could even put a shark. Shark tokens. I'll get you your shark tokens. Rest assured. We'll be back into the Spelljammer production on Monday morning as usual for morning streams. And once the shark interior art picture is finished, then we'll go in and build out shark token assets for the Oh Mama Adventure challenge. Yeah, there needs to be shark tokens for that encounter anyway. So it's certainly on the plate of things needed. Kind of redundant statement I just made there, but shut up. I'm not opposed to exploring the idea of dropping a stone in the middle of that thing. It can't be a numbered location because we already have all the locations in the first draft that's being edited right now. So it'd be a very minor. It'd just be a visual reference. But I am not opposed to that. Not a I'm kind of into that. All right. Almost done with that. Let's get back into it. Well, whatever released, whatever that discomfort I felt has pretty much converted itself at this point into hope and joy. So that's exciting. Glad to hear that. It's a nice change of feelings. I apparently am very quiet today. Well, I bet that's really keeping people's interest when they swing by and casually take a look at it. Hey, what's this guy got going on? Sounds like he's really quiet and pushing pixels. We'll see how much YouTube's algorithm hates me today. Well, if for some reason you've decided this is entertaining, certainly please do like and subscribe so that you can see and hear more of nothing. Obviously, this channel makes no sense to YouTube because they don't understand what the hell my point is. So the only way for me to be able to continue to grow is for people to like and subscribe, share, and it's very much appreciated. But of course, I'm probably only talking to 2 or 3 people that have probably already liked and subscribed. So I mean, the plead for more is pointless. We keep trying like fools. I'll find my tribe. We're growing. We are slowly but surely growing. Hey, timely timer. Let's keep on timing. It is 11 o'clock. We still got a good hour or so. We'll have an opportunity to do this for the underground facility has a flooded area as well that we can have similar language to this inside that location. Make it visually stimulating to look at. What up? Tell a story. What's some shenanigans you as a player got up to in D&D? Pick an old story, early memory. May be willing to play a game with that. Let's see. I don't have a lot as a player. I didn't do a lot of playing. I've been mostly a DM my career of being involved in RPGs. I will say, okay, so I used to play. Let's see, as a player, I never DM'd Rifts, but I played in Rifts fairly frequently. My favorite character was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mutated weasel with that spec'd specifically into psionic powers that would charm people. So he was basically Puss in Boots with cute big eyes that if he could lock eyes with you, he could distract you and hypnotize you, which of course allowed other teammates to shoot them unguarded. So that was fun. It also helped me out of, it was like a little, a weasel, like a hyper intelligent tiny little mutant creature, alongside like giant mecha monsters and alien beasts and stuff. I mean, we would throw the entire Rift universe together and just build whatever the hell we wanted. And then that's where I really started getting into session zero shenanigans. Like, you can play anything that you want, but whatever it is that you play has to make sense inside of the game. That's where we actually developed that out of our experiences with Rifts, because we would we had like a Macross pilot and people from Atlantis and my little mutant thing and Chi-Town Dog Boys that were all running together in the same group with like absolutely no respect to power levels whatsoever. Like, my character was drastically underpowered compared to the Atlanteans and the Macross mecha pilot. But I was good with single targets and single target intelligent living creatures. I could brain into. But we were like, okay, we gotta make this stuff start making sense, and so we ended up doing like a pan-dimensional mercenary troop that would get hired to fly a Millennium Falcon ship through a rift into another world to fetch some sort of exotic material or something, kind of like Jack L. Chalker's God Inc. If you're familiar with that, most people aren't. But God Inc. It was a series of novels about one dimension figured out you could tunnel through to another dimension through this tesseract thing that would have these refracting realities, and then they could like shoot down a rabbit hole to end up in a specific world that would have like a unique material or a unique technology or whatever. Back in the 70s, it was a pretty interesting new premise. It's done to death now, but it was pretty cutting edge at the time. Jack L. Chalker had really interesting like multi-dimensional ideas, like as part of his fictional universes in general. So he was really good for like Planescape and riffs and stuff like that as like as a thought generator, plot generating resource. Like anyway, so yeah, we I mean, it was all just shenanigans, fighting people and whatnot, and like, you know, having Splugors come after us and stuff like that. Let's see. One theme that that we had in Shadowrun, I did some Shadowrun playing, and we ended up having McDonald's and Taco Bell being the only two restaurant chains that had remained intact but separated during the Monopoly Wars. And this is, God, I think this is before Demolition Man even came out. Yeah, this is before Demolition Man came out. We had Taco Bell and McDonald's. So they had like militias that they would try to blow up each other's restaurants. So the like restaurant packing facilities were like bunker fortresses that were expecting corporate raids and bomb attacks and stuff like that to try to shut them down, so that, you know, if McDonald's could take out the production center of Taco Bell in the region, then McDonald's would be the only food source available for a while, so they would gain stock gains in that region. So it was a constant turf war between these food sources. That was kind of silly. Yeah, I did not do a lot of playing. But yeah, but from that disbalance, my session zero is always, you know, you can play anything that you want. If we're gonna build a campaign, let's create, like, I don't create the campaign world until I know what the players are choosing as their characters. And then whatever it is that they choose becomes like, this is a default norm in this campaign setting, so that, like, one setting we had like half demons and tieflings and stuff were the only type of characters that the players wanted to play. And so we ended up settling on a Drow campaign, because Drow society reveres half breeds. Demon and, like, you know, yeah, tieflings and half demons were elevated in Drow society. So we built a Drow campaign. Regardless of what our motives were, it would start in the Drow. It was in the Drow kingdom, even though it was a mostly like, it wasn't an evil campaign, quote unquote evil campaign. It was technically a good campaign. Like, they wanted to overthrow one of the matron houses, which isn't a particularly good or evil act. It's just, you know, being Drow. But yeah, because of the kind of characters that they wanted to play, that preset what kind of a society would accept them as, like, if you walk into a bar and you want to order a drink, is the creature that you're portraying going to be accepted as, like, that's a reasonable request and a reasonable establishment for somebody to openly be like, yeah, sure, here, have a beer. Let's see where I'm at here. Cool. I think I'm happy with that. Let's fade it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to work on the trim. And then we'll go through and we will clean up the lines. Got some outliers here that I need to fix as well. We'll have to do another sweep after this to clean up all the actual, like these things and whatnot, just to clean it up. Not particularly exciting for people to watch, I reckon, but it's at least fast work. And it clears it off the plate, so I'm going to use this time to do that. Yeah, I want to clean this up. Yay. Do. Just about finished along this edge here, and obviously there's a lot of, well, little fixes we need to make inside of here as well, so we can go back through and do that. I think this is where we came in. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. So now we can I just merged the underlying blue layer with the miasmic layer so that I can erase them both in one go. I don't think I need to modify it any further. Any modification I'm going to need is going to be above or below it, so it's pretty clean as is. Now I can just clean up the actual border, keeping everything separated inside of his lines so it stays a clean map. And then I'll have to clean up the lines that circle it. As we clean up the lines, we can adjust the slope lines here in the embankments so that it merges a little more smoothly with the piece all together. Yeah, I don't know the rules behind what drives me to talk a lot versus not talk at all. It seems to be pretty inconsistent. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it certainly is an inconsistent thing. That's the point, right? Also don't necessarily want to talk about the same thing over and over again, which is something that I risk doing while staying on the same page for so long. It kind of stimulates the same kind of conversation. So maybe I need to be thinking about how I can have more pieces that I'm rotating through at a time. I think once I get the Spelljammer document text off my plate, I can start cycling up the number of pieces that I'm working on to be able to bounce from one piece to another, so there's more variety in the course of a stream. I also kind of limit my streams to like generally like around 2-hour pieces, so that I'm not, I think, like overly burning out. Sweep. Good. Error. I got a bio break coming on soon. Clean this up, and then I'm going to bio break, and then we're going to work on another section. What's one of your soul food movies or TV shows, one you can always watch over and over and over and love? Black Hole. The Black Hole. I think it was 1980? Maybe it was 79. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, Disney's The Black Hole. Freaking love that movie. You can watch that pretty much any time. Aliens, the second one. I can also watch that over and over again without any issue whatsoever. Let's see. Interstellar is great background music for me. I listen to the OST frequently, but it's also just an easy thing to have on in the background, like when we're kicking around the house and doing whatever. Like when we want Netflix on, I don't want to pay attention to it. Me and my guy will watch Interstellar, no problem. Contact was a go-to for a long time. Star Wars for the longest time was a go-to, especially Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, I don't have any issue watching the Star Wars trilogy pretty much anytime. The original Star Wars trilogy anytime. The rest of it's kind of garbage. We made a full loop. Nope, not quite yet. Conan the Barbarian was a go-to for a long time as well. Akira, Ghost in the Shell. These are a few of my favorite things. Looking clean. All right, I got a bio real quick. We'll go bio. 5 minutes. There. See you in 5. Or maybe less. Let's see, what else, what do I want to work on here? Okay, I'm pretty happy where that's at. Still have this to work on over here. I think I want to. Top. How are we gonna do this? I'm trying to look at how I have my layers stacked up, and that's the fort. That's the entrance. Boy, that's minimal. First is first. I think what I want to do. Yeah, that complicates things. That shut. Weird. Okay. Well, that seems to be the same. create more. Yeah, I can create some more space here. I think I need to here to here. Get some gap going there. Let's see how I want to do this. I got the Fort black and white layer here. And then when we add color, everything else drops in. So now we have the fort broken into black and white, so that's going to work. Let's see. Get the fort on the top side. We got the tunnel down below. We got the 3 layers that are separated. Let's check this out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was a fail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. So 6, there's going to be 56. 3.5, huh? So what's the width we have here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So an 8.5. So a 10 by a page of 10 by 17 can accommodate one of these tunnels, and so I'm probably going to end up needing, like, when I build this thing, what I can do is I can take my my 11 by 17 page that I recommend for printing purposes, and since it's only 10 inches wide and this thing is 8 inches wide, we can basically run it like 10 by 16. So I have 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, 4 page, 5 page, 6 page, 7 page, 8 page, 9 page, 10 page, about 10 pages. That's what I would anticipate. Let's go with 600 divided by 5 feet spaces is 120. So yeah, it'll be about 10 pages, and we can have a 3-inch board. We can have a 3-inch by 2-inch margin. Yeah, 6 by 3-inch margin. So that'll give us plenty of space to have each page, and it can just be dropping them down. And we can have little mile markers on them. So when we build this out, you can probably lift this portion of the document. Once I have everything colored out, I can lift this off, drop it into a separate file that breaks it up into a 10-inch wide by 120 inches tall. It'd still be a manageable file for me to work with that I can then just cut up into 10-inch blocks or 15-inch blocks that I can then just drop into a file as separate black and white file pieces. As a digital asset, I can have all these things still lined up on one image like this, because this is a reasonable size document for having on a tabletop asset. You see, have all this can still fit inside the same space on the map. So this is the size of map that I can actually have as 2 separate VTTs. One is the fort surface, and then a separate page that you would pull into to be the underground entrances, and that'll all fit inside of one. But then when I do it again, breaking it up into separate documents, so that becomes something that can be printed out for black and white. And I wouldn't need all the color version in the black and white. It would just be line art, so it's pretty easy for us to use, and I can just do a cut and paste off of that directly. So that'll be easy for us to manipulate. But right now we're trying to separate the fort from the tunnel. The grid is separate, so we're doing management. We're doing asset management right now, breaking the components up into their individual black-white pieces so that we can use them effectively. So I gotta step out for a bit. Have fun watching with y'all. Thanks a lot, Honetica. I really appreciate you being around, dude. So I'll at worst see you online here in the next day or so, I'm sure. I'm still clocking these things in as separate pieces, but they're kind of there's the fort and there's the tunnel. Since they all sit inside the same asset, I can probably just pull them all together. I like, for now, I think I want to leave them as separate blocks, because I'm going to end up having to push each one of these segments into their into a new document. So if I keep them divided like this, that should work the best. I also want to use some of this language that I picked up in here. So maybe for now, I just build these out as separate assets. So let's do that. Let's just do what we know we can do, and then figure out the rest as we go along. That feels like the most haphazard way to play today. So let's play that way. I hear you. Family timer. Let's keep it going. Where are my assets? Black and white. Uh-oh. Well, I derped that one pretty bad. Okay, well. Let's see how far I can back up. Okay, so that was a happy accident. Group. Let's try that again. Fort. Black and white. Color. Ungroup. Black and white. Now we're organizing. There we go. Fort, that's good. I was wondering, like, where's the line art? Oh, that explains. Okay, that explains why that's hugging so close now, because I have to have that. Right, I forgot about that. That incline. Maybe I can scale that down so I can have it fit underneath here. Like if I have this going vertically, I can have this along the bottom, maybe at a smaller scale. Like that is to scale the water line that I have there. So. That's obnoxious. How do I want to do this? I'll just let it sit for now. It ain't hurting anybody where it's at, so let's just leave it. So we have the fort here, we have the tunnel here, we got the black and white here, which seems to be reading true for now, and then we got color, which is perfect. All this stuff here, black and white. Bunker door, question mark. Color. Side scale. ungroup that. Bunker door. Good. Good. Bunker door. Color. Side scale. Get rid of spacing. Get rid of spacing. Spacing. I feel like I want to merge that into one layer yet. Okay. Conceal that for now. Color layer equals engage. Cool. Okay, now we're back on path. We can continue with what we had originally intended. Let's see, what can we do to manipulate this directly? Let's go with for now, we're just going to do single layers like this, and then we'll cut and paste each layer into each segment. Let's do this. What the hell am I manipulating here? Cool. Duplicate this layer and drop it down to the next one. And then we can do that same modeled effect that we had done, that texturing effect, so that we have consistent language. There. Down, grab this one. I have an inconsistency here. Okay, I think that should be good enough. Come on. Black and white there, and then we have to oy vey. Fuck. Fuck. Cannot be edited without being merged. Oh, fuck me running. Crap. Okay. Crap. I can't believe we have that inconsistency there. That's horrible. All right. So we're going to... Maybe that'll fix. Bunker, bunker, nope, bunker, and bunker. Oy vey. No, that seems... Ooh, it's just offline. There, and... There. That should... Okay, cool. We're good. Arf. That. There. Nope. There. That's good. Good. Snooze it. Keep going. Still got another 20 some odd minutes. Let's see. How are we going to do this? And that's lined up. Okay, cool. So those will look good. That looks good. But we need to... Let's, yeah. Merge that down. Yeah. Okay, now we can tunnel, port, color. Water, water. Top. Grab this asset. And get back into this. There. Yeah. get this same language that we have up here for these things, get that built into this long tunnel, and we can use that as a template. We can just cut and paste pieces of it and flip it and stick them back together on the other side so it's not too symmetrical. Yeah, it's super freaking useful. I use it for all sorts of shit. Like obviously I was doing mountains with it last night. Any kind of, I mean, because of the edges that it has on it, it allows it, like here it's a triangle, like this top bit here, so I can do triangular stuff with it. And obviously it has a square off that I can do, work on other sides. The only thing I can't do is flip it horizontally, but I can manipulate something and then flip it horizontally on the axis on its own. But I'm going to drop this down to here. Then I can slide it across to here. Feels like the same gap. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish. Hit the save button real quick. Zoom in again. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish. Proper. So now I can go into here. This is a flooded tunnel. Should have, let's see, where is it? Select inverse, and now I should be able to go over here. Yeah. Proper. The effects of the manifest zone, the nexus of the whole affair is on the underground necromancy laboratory, which this thing kind of pokes through to. So I'm going to erase. I can actually reselect and destroy that. Yep. Clear that passage out, and now I can go in with this tool. Do the same thing here. The techniques that we learned yesterday. Boop, boop, boop. Like I talk about, like having a really good brush is nice and all, but you really need to have the experience in just using crappy brushes, so that you can, so that you can see where the Like, why is it valuable? Like, if you don't understand why you would need this brush, the brush is much less useful. You know, it's I can use this for a shitload of stuff because I know how useful it is in the work that I do. Like, I built this brush specifically so I can do my workflow and make my workflow move more efficiently. But somebody else is like, if you're going to use my brushes, you may inadvertently be adopting my workflow, which might not be ideal for the work that you're trying to do. So it's always, in my opinion anyway, it's always best to start off with like your raw base of I don't have any brushes to use, and as you develop your style, you start integrating. You start learning how to build brushes for yourself so that so it's the tool that fits what you need, and then it kind of the tool helps self-reinforce like your own particular style that you develop, although you don't necessarily want to be only one style all the time. It certainly, depending on what kind of projects you want to do and like who you want to get paid for, having diversity in style is really useful so that you can take on more projects that are outside of what may be perceived as your typical genre of work. Like, having a really crisp, vibrant style is useful if you like want to do like online slot machine games and design like cherries and bar assets for that sort of stuff. But that'd be a completely different feel from like if you want to get into like, say, grimdark games that have a heavy brooding color palette that's drab, and it's going to be a completely different feel than what that slot machine would be. But if you can demonstrate that you have both of those, then you may be able to score gigs for both of them. At the same time, getting into a particular niche with a particular consistent look allows you to speed up production on that particular look. So if you're looking at doing commission work at a large scale that's going to be duplicating the same set of assets over and over again, getting yourself into that one particular type of asset is useful. Like, doing the same grimdark over and over and over again lets you crack through grimdark content very, very quickly, so it's good for production value. From my perspective, where I'm at right now, I am really doing jack of all trades, and that like all the asset productions for a product is pretty much on my shoulders. So I'm finding myself working in various different sort of various genres depending on what it is. Like Spelljammer will probably have a different feel from this Mabar campaign. Like, this will probably be more brooding than the assets I produced for Spelljammer so far. I don't necessarily know if that's true, but I feel like there's a more, I don't know, they both feel like mine, but like they look different, I think, a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here. Yeah, that shit looks pretty slick. I can go down here and do the same on the other side. Oh yeah, I don't like this song, so I'm going to see if I can get rid of it. Oh my god, I do hate this song. This is not what I wanted. What's that say? Done. Guess I have to scroll through here manually to find it. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. I think it sounds kind of obnoxious. Where the hell are you? Why are you on this page? I don't see you on this list. Back at it. Limited rushes. Hell yeah, dude. About 20 minutes left. This is our last block of time before I step out for the day. So we'll at least be able to get this stuff fed into here and start working on pixel, on pushing some pixels around on it. But this is certainly where we are at in the project. Not quite done as I had hoped, but such is the process. I do love this. Something meditative about dropping pixels. You know, doing this form-fitting stuff. Texturing process. It's just very satisfying. Oh, the precision. Nope. That's pretty good. Now we can start pushing some pixels around. Dude. Yeah. Good. It's good. It's like the smaller the space, the more I can have it filled in with garble. Yes, Glarble. Glarble like that. Glarble, Glarble. This facility is only about 400 some odd years old. So the amount of, like, in the fortress up here, the amount of wear and tear that this place has is really more than what it should be for the age of the structure. But the very nature of the Mabar energies causes unnatural decay and rot. So the stone itself is corroding faster than it normally would. So you've got these breakdowns in the wall from the poison that spews out. I mean, the source is over this way, so it gets corroded more quickly, and then it's just working its way up the ramp to. Yeah, it's just working its way up this ramp and spewing out as like smoggy, like smoke machine sort of stuff that spews out here and spews out from underneath the door here, and then the top side entrance that's off to the west. It's just like a massive elevator shaft that's just like a giant, like a nuclear power facility with its billowing white smoke, but it's Mabar poison that's being pumped into the environment, like smog or like pollution, I guess. I have a better word, but yeah. So that's kind of a cool thing it's got going on here. Just a subtle little point that is unlikely to come up in game, but is totally legit. It's like, this place is rotted out a lot more than I would expect it to be for its age. Like, yeah, that is an unnatural effect of the planar energy that's involved. This is unnaturally aging rock. Bear caution. Just a fun little piece. Yeah. Well, it's cool, like when players are like, this doesn't make any sense to me, so they ask, why is this like this? And like, there's an in-game reason. It's like, should we be concerned about this? It's like, I don't know, are you concerned about that? I choose to be concerned. It's like, great, do something about it. Plot hook. The wizard did it. Don't worry about it. That's right. That's right. Magics. think we're about to run out of time. Five minutes left on the block. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left. That means that we're going to be out for the rest of today. We'll be it's unlikely we're going to be on tomorrow at all. Which means probably the next time we're going to be on is going to be Monday morning for our coffee stream. We'll be working on Spelljammer. We'll be finishing up the Shark Knight Rider illustration, and then we'll work on shark assets, token assets, and then we'll be back for lunchtime for our Martial Power Monday art stream, and our design stream, and then Monday night we'll be back working on more Eberron production like this. So if anyone is new to the channel and you haven't been around, you're welcome to look at the 200 some odd hours that I've accumulated so far and in my other playlists for the different content that we put out this year. And like, subscribe, check out my books that are available for you to look at no cost. The free previews has pretty much everything cover to cover for you to look at. Follow me on Twitter. If you know where I'm at on Discord, drop a hey and shout at me. And just gonna finish this out. When it goes ping, I will shut down. So we got a few more minutes left. It's a pretty fun texture. I gotta admit, I dig that. All right, that's it for the day, guys. Dismiss. Let's finish up this thought, and we'll head out for the day. All right, cool. That's where we're at. Looking forward to continuing. So we'll be back. Monday morning. And thanks a lot for checking in. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks a lot, honestly. Yeah, see you guys on the other side. Bye.